My friends, there's something about a good underdog story. An unexpected hero succeeding in the face of adversity that captures our imagination, inspiring us all. Oftentimes, the underdog will use an obscure or unorthodox technique to help overcome their disadvantage and succeed against all odds. Speedrunning has seen its share of underdog stories, and that is just the kind of story we're sharing today. Frigate Agent 22 Seconds was a world record set by a speedrunner who needs no introduction, Karl Jobst, in early 2019. The final one of 9 untied world records he set on a tear through GoldenEye, which lasted just over 1 year. So how did a relatively untested speedrunner ranked well outside of the top 100 manage to match the time? And what obscure technique, known about since 2011 but deemed too absurd to actually pull off, did he use to accomplish the score? Well, this is the story of WhiteTed's Frigate 22. While it might take an obscure technique to give you the edge in speedrunning, this isn't always the case to gain an edge in life in general. That can be made easy thanks to the Ridge Wallet, a light, sleek, industrial wallet. The Ridge Wallet has vastly improved my pocket situation since I no longer bonk my arms into my old bulgy wallet while playing video games, nor does it fall out in the middle of a run. The Ridge Wallet never gets in the way and is just so fast, sleek, and smooth. Full steam ahead with the Ridge Wallet in my pocket. Ridge has a ton of cool styles you can choose from. They're super durable and have a lifetime warranty, so you can keep this bad boy for the next 80 years and then pass it along to your grandson when you're done with it. And they have RFID blocking technology, so your credit card information won't get sniped by some bad actor in the grocery store. You can get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/staytrue. That's ridge.com/staytrue and use my code STAYTRUE. Link in description. Thanks. So I'll keep the backstory brief on this one. Frigate Agent 23 was one of GoldenEye's most historic world records, the penultimate untied world record of WhiteTed Jansen, the speedrunner who set more records in the game than anyone else. This record would go on to be tied by 20 others over the next 13 years, and would eventually be beaten by Karl Jobst in early 2019, the capstone to a wild tear where he achieved 9 untied world records in 14 months' time, beginning with Damn Agent 52 and ending with Frigate Agent 22. Frigate 22 was a really strong time that only a few runners were even able to pace, and it requires capitalizing on a run where you get the rare luck factor of both the hostages escaping. Something that could technically happen as often as 1 in 41 runs, but really is far, far less common than that, because of all other sorts of randomness. Each one of these hostages, and both of them need to escape to complete Objective A, rescue hostages, must not only be freed, but also follow a path to a despawn point outside the boat. Only one of their 6 despawn points are close enough to reach quickly enough to get a time of 22 seconds. So you'd think roughly 1 in 36 runs might complete, but unfortunately that's not the case. They can get stuck on guards, chairs, unload, reload, pick the correct escape point but then change their mind because you looked at them the wrong way. This one hostage in particular can get really messed up because when you're freeing his buddy over here, it lures a guard in the way. And the way the game works in regards to loading or unloading NPCs means this hostage can get stuck on this guard or end up just running very slowly, too slowly to complete the level in world record time. The stage is truly a chaotic mess, a big cluster. But could it be, at all, simplified? And might an attempt to simplify things really just complicate it further? So if you're watching this channel, you're probably familiar with control styles 2.2 and 2.4, often referred to as the 2.x control styles. In that context, they're used because the game processes actions on the second controller during intro cutscenes into levels, allowing you to do things like shoot and build full speed before the mission begins. But what about the other control styles, presumably 2.1 Plenty and 2.3 Domino? They exist but aren't ever really mentioned in speedrunning. Why? Well, 2.1 is pretty useless in this regard. The only actions you can do on your second controller before the level starts are look up and down on the Y-axis and point your crosshair aimer. But you can't shoot, so you can aim at stuff but not shoot. Yeah, definitely quite pointless, and no benefits to it are known. This isn't quite the same with 2.3 though, which actually does have a theoretical use in the game. You see, the control sticks are mapped the same way as 2.1, that being the first controller stick strafes around, while the second controller looks up and down. However, the Z buttons are swapped from 2.1, meaning with 2.3, the aimer is on the first controller, and hence the Z button shoots on the second controller. If you remember control style 2.4, you can definitely shoot during cutscenes, which is great, but you can only shoot in the exact center of the screen. So if something you want to shoot is slightly off center, well, no luck. For example, this camera on the Surface 2 cutscene is visible in an intro cutscene, but not hittable. However, control style 2.3 might change things, since now you can look up and down on the second controller while also shooting. Now, this doesn't quite help you out here on Surface 2, since the camera is a little bit left of center. However, one level that this can help you out on is Frigate Agent. Well, plausibly all of Frigate. You see, with this cutscene, there is a hostage taker taking a hostage just a little bit up from the center of the screen. Thus, with control style 2.3, you can look up and shoot, thus eliminating the hostage taker, freeing a hostage early, which can help complete half of the objective A, rescue hostages. It's really not that simple though. You see, for one, there's not a clear path from the view of this cutscene to the guard you must pass away. This set of consoles are in the way, and if you shoot them, well, everything blows up, passing away the hostage. Not good. So what you must do, and this is where it gets a bit wacky, is load up Surface 1 or Cradle. Just do it once at the beginning of your session, then go back to play Frigate, and voila, the consoles become unloaded during the opening cutscene. Why is this? What sorcery could this be? Well, it's because Frigate is missing some of the sky textures, so by loading Surface 1 or Cradle, it sets the sky textures to a particular value, which overwrites the non-existent value on Frigate, and the result is that the consoles are unloaded from afar. Yeah, I told you this strategy gets pretty convoluted, and it's not done there. Because even then, when you do shoot in the cutscene, there's some bloom on your weapons, so you won't even consistently hit the hostage-taking guard. Sometimes you can hit the hostage, sometimes other guards in the room, but all in all, it is worth it because every few runs, you'll get this message: hostage released, meaning that hostage is on his way to escaping early. But not always, because even then, he only has a 1 in 6 chance of choosing the correct escape point, which is completely random. But when he does escape, you will see hostage escaped only a few seconds into your run. And this is because the 1 of 6 escape locations close enough for him to escape only takes him a couple seconds to run to. Thus, if you do not see hostage escaped, you know the run is for naught, and it's time to try again. He will have no chance of escaping over the next 20 seconds, because his next closest escape point is much further away than that. Alright, so that is the gist of this obscure technique, and it does help out because now you only need to free one of these two hostages, and this one will have a similar, roughly 1 in 6 chance to complete the objective. This obviously also saves a little time, in theory at least, since you can just free this one hostage, then turn around for the bug throw, instead of having to save both like we traditionally do. But you're gonna need that time because, well, remember, now you're playing with control style 2.3, which is wacky as heck. It's basically like 2.4, which is already awkward enough to control, but the control sticks are swapped. So you're really moving around with the left stick and looking up and down with the right stick. It's really weird because the right stick also controls your strafing left and right, so if you need to change your lookup angle, you will necessarily lose full speed of your strafe, since you'll have to adjust up and down, thus taking the controller away from being full left or full right strafe. It's hard to appreciate if you haven't tried it yourself. This background footage has been me attempting to play Facility with 2.3 control style, and you can see how well that's going. Let's just take a look at one of Ted's earlier runs, a Frigate 24, to get an appreciation for it. Alright, so we're going to queue into the level, and you'll hear Ted shoot here. Just a little bit up from center, freeing the hostage. Hostage release just there. Very nice. Move up the ramp. He's going to have a little bit of a hang up there, you see. Tough movement. Hostage escape, though, that's a really good sign. Shoots this guy quite the hang up on that doorway, and then misses pressing B there. So again, these are really showing how difficult it is to move well with 2.3 control style. It's very awkward. He switches to 1.2 to leave the mission and throw the bug, but then the guards he lured here are kind of in the way, messing him up. So it gets very, very complex, very crazy with 2.3 control style. Hostage escapes in the fade out, and this is a Frigate 24 by Ted. Very nice. But you can see just how insane the level gets with this control style. So yeah, you can see how much chaos this 2.3 technique causes on the mission. It almost makes you wonder if it's actually worth it, or if you're better off just squeezing out a 22 using 1.x control styles. But you can see despite all those mistakes, this 24-second run was still 24, so that's the benefit. Not only that, but because you're only rescuing this first hostage, he's also much less likely to get trolled by guards getting in his way, since you don't fire into this room, thus attracting more guards. So if you can manage to learn how to play with 2.3 control style, it really opens up 22 to being an attainable record by players who might not otherwise have the skill to pound out 22 pace run after 22 pace run with the 1.x control styles, which you would need to do hundreds of times until you get both hostages to escape. Does it make it easier? That much is hard to say, but it does require less optimization to reach 22 speed. So yeah, that's the technique Ted used, control style 2.3, to attempt to tie Frigate Agent 22. He had actually been playing it for about a year. This is the first video footage of Ted playing Frigate Agent from back in September 2019. Admittedly, myself and others thought Ted going for Frigate 22 was just more of a meme that would never actually result in anything meaningful. After all, the strategy had been known about since 2012, when it was originally revealed by a longtime player, Golden Greg 007, and it had gone largely unexplored in the years since. The control style 2.3 just seemed too daunting, and the reward of using it seemed not quite worthwhile enough. It's still not being a given that you would either complete the frigate runs regularly, nor do it fast enough for a world record. Over the following year, Ted would occasionally upload a video sharing his frigate progress. A semi-legit fail here, a strong start there, a 22 pace run gone wrong everywhere, and he'd sprinkle these in between his more usual strategy developments and TAS theory videos. Even so, I know I'm not the only one who doubted we'd ever see a result from Ted on this stage, and I always figured 22 would be more likely tied by a player like Perfect Ace using a more traditional speedrunning method. But alas, on August 21st, 2020, WhiteTed achieved this speedrun.
Good. Very good. Yes! Oh my god. It might be, it might be. The ramp was a bit dodgy. Oh my god. Even I was starting to think it was just a meme.
Truly remarkable, and just like that, a true underdog speedrunner had achieved an amazing world record. Perhaps even more insane is that, well, Ted gets this back boost from a guard who was lured from his initial shots into the engine room. Plus, his bug throw is perfectly decent, but if you compare it to those of Ace or Karl on 22 paces with 1.x control styles, there is some time to be saved there too. Combine this with the fact that Objective A completed shows up on screen about half a second before the level fades out. This all means 21 is definitely possible. Of course, only possible with 2.3 control style mastery, and Ted himself has done a clean tool-assisted speedrun of the stage, getting 20 seconds. So yeah, that's definitely out there. But for now, we appreciate the remarkable feat of Ted matching 22 seconds, a record that was and still is amazing in its own right.
Yes! Oh my god.
There is also the chance that this could work on Secret and Double Agent. It's not immediately clear since the speed of world records is often capped by the slowest hostage, usually this guy. Plus the additional guards lured out into inconvenient areas from the cinema shots might make things difficult. More difficult than just playing the stage with 2.3 already. So it's hard to say, but perhaps it won't be long until Ted or another enterprising speedrunner like him shows up and puts it to good use. It does make you wonder. There are many strategies which are known to be theoretically better or faster in speedrunning, but are just deemed too hard by the community. Are they really too hard? Or is it just the fear of learning a completely new technique or control method keeping us back from achieving amazing things? The technique was known about since 2012, yet it would take 8 years before someone actually converted it into a world record. This reminds me a little bit of the carpetless strategy in Super Mario 64, a single star technique that many thought was just too insanely difficult to ever be pulled off. Yet once the runner Zaya began giving it a shot, it became a reality much more quickly than anyone would expect. It can be so easy to become complacent, playing the game the way you want, the way that feels natural, fun, and easy, but it seems that as time goes on, sometimes the unorthodox, obscure techniques are the ones which ultimately can be the most rewarding. So that's the story of WhiteTed's Frigate Agent 22. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about the obscure 2.3 control style and what might lie ahead with it in the years to come. Thanks for watching, stay true, and I'll see you in the next stream or video.